In this video, I'm going to cover an important topic that tends to be overlooked: version control. It's important for not only group projects, but solo devs can benefit from version control as well. That way you don't end up accidentally losing entire projects. The version control I'm going to use is Unity's version control. It used to be called Plastic, so I might accidentally refer to it as Plastic. Some places still kind of refer to it as Plastic as well, but it is Unity version control. Not only do I use this for Unity projects, but you can also use this for Unreal projects. In fact, as of the recording of this video, I was looking at Unreal 5.7 preview, and it looks like it has built-in version control where you can directly connect your Unity version control, aka Plastic, directly to the Unreal editor. So the purpose of this video is to show you how to hook up a directory. Actually, they refer to it as like a repository of a Unity project, but you would go through the same process if you were going to hook up an Unreal project. I do tend to like to do it in a more manual fashion rather than doing it through the Unity editor itself, because I tend to have it be more successful and not have any kind of weirdness with it. And I feel that getting familiar with the standalone app is beneficial because it's a lot easier to visualize what is happening with your data, and I think it's a lot easier to work with. So to start off, you need to go to cloud.unity.com and register if you haven't already. If you are a Unity user, you do want to make sure that you are signing up with the same account that is hooked up to your Unity hub. If you're not a Unity user, you can, I guess, sign up with whatever email that you want, but you'll get access to the dashboard up here at cloud.unity.com. There might be other things you might have to complete, like making your organization with that. And all your organization is it's you. It's like if you were your company, so that all of the products and projects associated with it that you own are going to be under your organization, so that if you have other people working on the project with you, you would have to invite them to your organization, but you are in charge of it. So if you're a solo dev, your organization is just you, but you might have to go through some extra steps to set up your organization. So the important part of this is not like the dashboard, it's actually what's called DevOps. I have a shortcut here to go to DevOps. If you don't have one, you can click Add Shortcut and find DevOps and add that to your area over here. I'm going to click on it and it'll take us to the screen. So like I said, I do like to use the standalone version. I think it works a little bit better and it's easier to navigate. You can easily install that down here. Download UVCS and just install the version that you're using. You would then, once it's installed, have to log into your same login as here so that it does talk correctly together. So a little bit about this. The way this is broken up is that you are doing your project. So project is here, but if you need to actually change your project, like you have different game projects you're working on, you would switch your project with this drop down right here. So I have this one that I'm currently on, and then I have some other ones here. We'll get into this in a little bit, but the important thing is getting that application, standalone application installed and signed in. When you sign in, you'll have an area for repositories and workspaces, or just workspaces. I'm just going to work in this area, this repositories area, and I do want to add a new repository. You don't want to add a repository until you have a project to actually add to it. I prefer to create my starter project first and then add the repository. So I did create just a really basic Unity project before I started this video. And I do want to point out, if you are doing that, make sure when you do a new project, don't connect it to Unity version control, because we're going to be doing that manually. So make sure that you're not doing that part of it. So once you have that project created, close out of Unity, and if you have Visual Studio open, close it out as well. I'm a little bit paranoid that I like to make sure all my programs are closed like that before I do any kind of version control, just to make sure everything's been saved. I don't want to miss anything that I had saved. So I'm just going to click the plus button next to repositories. I do need to make sure that I am signed into my account. I do need to choose, you probably won't have any other Unity organizations, because if it's just you, but that's, just double check that that is correct. And I'm going to click on plus to create a new repository. With this drop down, you can choose, if you have a workspace to work in. If not, it might just make you one, but I have like just a generic one. So I'm going to add this to, and I'm going to, before I change my repository name, I'm going to browse, and I'm going to locate where I made that project. So I made it under here. What did I call it? UVC demo. And you want to go down into the folders until you see, that you can see those like assets, library, logs folders. Same thing with Unreal. Make sure you get into the folder when you can actually start to see the project, and not, folders that it's nested in, because it will cause a lot of problems. I'm then going to click select folder. I'm going to give it a name based off what this is called, and this is just called UVC demo. It's also going to rename it down here, and creating a workspace for that is fine. And I'm going to click create. So we're going to turn that off. So it will automatically, point you now in the Workspace Explorer to that project. This isn't backed up yet. This is just pointing to it. If we go to the Branch Explorer, we can see that, we still have our one node. But if we go to pending changes, we should see all of our files for our game. So it's new. Nothing's been checked in. I do usually just add all of them and call this one up in the comments. This is our first check-in. Check it in. If we go back to our Branch Explorer, we can see now we have a new little node that says this is our first change set and this is our first check-in. If we go to the Workspace Explorer, it starts to be a little bit more interesting, and I do kind of want to talk about a few things. Notice how it has some of these grayed out. The .vs code, the library, the logs, and the user settings. These are set to private ignored because we don't need to push these things. Everything contained in these folders is just local to our computer, and we don't actually need to upload them. This significantly lowers the amount of memory and files that we have to push. So it's just pushing what's necessary. If we hadn't set this up correctly, we wouldn't have, it would have put those in there because it kind of automatically detects that this is a Unity project and it knows which things to hide. Same thing with Unreal. There are certain folders that you can just put on private ignored by just right-clicking. You can add to ignored so that you don't have to actually push them because you don't want to bloat your project. So now if we head back to our website, we should be able to find that. So I'm going to make sure, okay, that we are here, and let's go to our repositories. And we can now see that this UVC demo is in that Polygarden LLC repository. Because remember, I chose that specific project to work in. In fact, we can even click on this and we can see what's been pushed. Notice none of the stuff that we didn't need is there. So now we are free to add stuff to our repository. We can, from Unity, we can go back into previous ones. We can branch off, but I'm going to go over that in another video. The purpose of this one was just so that you can get your project pushed into UVC correctly.